This was our land. Troll land. We Amani was here before anyone. The elves and their alliance came to drive us out. But we never give up. We never forget. The elves took my eye. I cut off my own arm to escape them. And now they fight alongside the Horde? I spit on the Horde! I hate you. I hate you all. But I got a surprise for you now. So come on in. The Amani never give up. We never forget. We never die. This is our land. You wanna stay? You stay here forever. We gonna bury you here.
So, can I first say, man, woo, woo. You know, many people consider that to this day their favorite trailer that they've ever done. And I can see why. The guy who voiced Zul'jin, whew, he got into it. Like when you hear him say, I hate you. I hate you all. And I've seen people that, you know, like, will watch that, and when the dagger is approaching his eyeball, woof, oh, they cringe. They're like, oh man, woof. Awesome stuff as always. So, yes, that was Zul'jin. I'll be honest with you guys, my first introduction to Zul'jin was really in Heroes of the Storm. I didn't really know that much about Zul'jin until I started to look into the history of this 10-man raid back in Burning Crusade. And yes, I know that Zul'Gurub was actually a raid back in Vanilla. However, they have changed it to a degree where it makes more sense to do so in Cataclysm, especially when I show the trailer. It also shows in the trailer for, you know, Rise of the Zandalari, when we do Zul'Gurub, why they brought back and redid this as a dungeon for Cataclysm, because for a good portion of it, from what I understand from people who actually did it, I obviously did not get to participate in it back in the day, since I wasn't playing WoW back then. But from what I've heard from people who did participate in this 10-man raid, for the most part, it's the same except for the last boss, basically, because it's not Zul'jin anymore, so. And we are here in the Ghostlands at Zul'Aman. You'll see out here we have Vol'jin, yeah, and then we have Haldurin Brightwing. This is the guy that you saw in that trailer that took out Zul'jin's eye. That's him. Yeah. So I actually have to look under dungeons, even though it actually, you know, it would have been a raid back then. So Zul'Aman, the echoes of unfulfilled vengeance linger in the one-time capital of the Amani tribe, Zul'Aman. Though the Amani trolls answered their warlord's call to arms, Zul'jin was denied his goal of restoring the empire to its former glory. Where he failed, the Zandalar tribe will succeed. Left unchecked, the united tribes will reclaim their lands and savor a merciless retribution. Now that has the more updated Cataclysm version. I tried to relook up the backstory and what was going on in Burning Crusade just to recheck. So As a reminder, as it was kind of talked about and referenced in that second war, back in Warcraft 2, led by Zul'jin, the Amani trolls joined the Horde during the Second War. They did so in part to fight against the High Elves who had joined the Alliance. After the Amani, several other forest trolls had joined the Horde war effort as well. They proved to be a valuable addition to the Horde, however, Zul'jin seemed to have disappeared mysteriously after the end of the war and the defeat of the Horde. In truth, Zul'jin had been captured by the High Elves and freed by an Amani war party and retreated into Zul'Aman to recuperate. So, we were, then it says that at the behest of Bud Nedrek, adventurers entered Zul'Aman to steal the treasures within. Not only did said adventurers steal the treasures, they also were able to beat back the Amani within Zul'Aman and successfully killed Warlord Zul'jin. If we are to look at the area under Burning Crusade to try and get the more actual backstory here about Zul'Aman and what was going on during the Burning Crusade time, It actually doesn't talk about it that much. It obviously talks a lot about what was going on in Outland, but, the thing about the Amani trolls, in fact, some of the other trolls, and this is something we'll actually see when we do, get to Zul'Gurub and see the Rise of the Zandalari trailer, the trolls, with the exception of the Darkspear, and then eventually the Zandalar when they join us in BFA, they cannot accept the fact that their empire is gone. They were on top of the world in Azeroth. The trolls ruled this world. And they don't anymore. And that burns them. They hate that. They want more than anything to be the rulers of the world once again as they used to be. They are obsessed with that. They can't let it go. That's why things such as what happens here in Zul'Aman with being ward from Regent Lord of Silvermoon, Lorthamar demands an explanation for the presence of this exile in our lands. Quel'Thalas is as much my home as it is yours, and I would not see it fall to our ancient enemy. Now you tell your cowardly regent, Varisa, please. She is here at my invitation, courier. Most of my Farstars are away and cannot be recalled easily. Varisa's rangers know the land, and they are experienced combatants. Lorthamar does not concur with your reasoning. You have no authority to invite this. I am the commander of Silvermoon's defenses, and I will seek assistance as I deem necessary. Now, Chieftain Vol'jin, before we were so rudely interrupted, you were telling us of the Zandalari plan. That I was. The Zandalari called a meeting of all the troll tribes, including the Darkspears. King Rastakhan, he be planning to unite all the troll tribes under his Zandalari. Including the Amani? The Amani, the Gurubashi, all of them. Nothing but quiet outside Zul'Aman. My scouts have reported nothing but quiet outside Zul'Aman. I'm sorry. Attaching emissaries to every tribe. Sorry, I read that. I'm reading down here. They be holed up inside the ruined city, regrouping. Rastakhan be calling me his brother, but the Horde be our true brothers. We gotta stop him before he can sweet-talk the others into joining his empire. So how are we going to deal with the alliance between the Amani and the Zandalari? We must prevent it from occurring in the first place. That be the plan. My men be infiltrating the city and learning what they can about the new Zandalari warlord. Haldurin, we should combine our forces and make preparations to act on reports from the Darkspear scouts. Agreed. Messenger, you may carry word of our plans back to Lord Lorthamar, but make it clear that I will not tolerate any further interference. Yeah, get out of here. But yeah, obviously this is referring to what you're going to be seeing later on when we go through Zul'Gurub, and I show you the trailer of the Rise of the Zandalari where, they got all of them and they're like, the Troll Empire will rise again. And Vol'jin, because he's awesome, was like, no, the Horde is my people. And if you'll be bringing war to my family, the Horde, then I will fight you back. Because they are very loyal to Darkspear. They are fiercely loyal to the Horde, not the trolls. And that's something I love about Vol'jin. And, of course, the Darkspear. Now, of course, this was back when Rastakhan was, he was also following the stuff with Zul. I mean, that we do with all this in BFA. But back then, this was still a big deal with Zul'Aman, with the Amani, and then, of course, the Gurubashi, but we'll be dealing with that in Zul'Gurub. So, as I was as I was saying, most of this, from what I understand, is basically the same except down here. Back in Burning Crusade, the final boss, of course, was Zul'jin, as you saw in the trailer. Now it's some guy named Dakara. Yeah. So, anyways. So, this was back when they were still doing things like 10-man raids. Remember, Karazhan was a 10-man raid. This was also a 10-man raid back then. And, this place was known for one of the toughest runs that you could possibly do back then. That awarded a mount, a really cool mount that was kind of one of those mounts that was like a, how do I say this? What's the proper word I want to use here for? A mount that represented something that was basically a sign of accomplishment, maybe for lack of a better term. It was a mount that when people saw it, they knew you pulled off a extremely difficult run in order to pull that off and accomplish it. So from what I've understand, from what I have heard and understand doing my research and listening to firsthand accounts from people who actually did participate in this back then. In fact, I encourage you guys to check out the Lore Runner's WoW Lore Run, where he went in depth about this during the portion where he was covering the stuff in Burning Crusade, because he actually tanked these, what were called 4 chest runs back in the day, and he has the mount. In case you're curious, I can't show you the mount from back then. I can only show you the new current one. What is it? Anyways, never mind. It's this right here. So this is the mount you can get now, and I'll be showing you how to get it if you want to do this yourself. And this is a guaranteed drop if you pull off the run successfully. So this is called the Amani Battle Bear. It's a pink one, I guess. The one you could get back in Burning Crusade was called the Amani War Bear. It was a red one. Like, the armor and such was red. This is a pretty awesome looking mount with an armored bear. This is a sign of prestige, I guess I could also say, if you had the red one, because it meant you pulled off the 4 chest run. So, what is the 4 chest run? So, basically, from what I understand, the 4 chest run, and I can even show you how it works here, this is the layout of this, it's called a dungeon now, but it was a raid back then. This is where you start. You enter here. I'll show you. I even practiced. I did a practice run of this before I recorded this because I wanted to make sure I did this right. First, you have to make sure you get in by ringing the gong correctly. I'll show you what I mean in just a bit. Then you had to, once you enter the gates open and you enter, a timer starts. And you now have to kill all 4 of these bosses and free each of the prisoners there within a certain time limit. Otherwise, you don't get the mount to be available. It's like a 15-minute timer. Now, when you kill one of the bosses, you get like an extra 4 minutes or so on the timer. Something like that. It's easy nowadays, obviously, because obviously I'm showing you the solo version of this, where I can just easily solo this and one-shot everything in here. But back in the day, from what I've heard, back in Burning Crusade, this was insanely hard. It was so hard back then. Like, seconds were precious trying to pull off this run. And that was just to do it once. Imagine doing this multiple times for every person in that 10-man raid group in order for everybody to get the mount. Yeah. People to this day talk about not only how hard it was, but also how good it was. So, what do we say we enter Zul'Aman? There's a decent amount of voice acting in this, which back in Burning Crusade, that was kind of impressive. There was hardly any voice acting, excuse me. Even, like the voice acting in Molten Core with Major Domo and Ragnaros was rare. That was rare. So was the stuff with Nefarian. But then it was like, oh man, Burning Crusade. Now even here, it's like, okay, this is Zul'jin because this portion. Some of this is still the same from Burning Crusade, but some of it has been updated for Cataclysm. Excuse me. So here's the toughest boss in this in this place. The Gong Boss. So to start this and start the timer, by the way, if you come here, you can talk to Tosani and, Hukuz. It's Zul'jin now. It was someone else back then, from what I understand. You would talk to each of them. They would, each give you a quest, which is basically save all the prisoners. Because the idea is, the reason behind the timer is because they are, like, going to sacrifice the prisoners. That's part of the reason why we are here. Part of the reason why we're here is because, well, this is part of the lead up in the backstory. The people, the Amanius, including Zul'jin and such, they were like, you know what? I got an idea. Why don't we kill our Loa and absorb their essence and become incredibly strong ourselves and take their power? And then we can use it to take over the world again. That was basically their idea mentality. But in order to help accomplish this, they had to capture and sacrifice innocent souls. This was actually kind of a practice that the trolls had done for a long time, long ago. So it was just kind of accepted common knowledge as part of their culture, basically. So that's kind of why we're here, because they started to like raid villages and such, mainly because they want to capture people from those villages to eat them, basically. So yeah, we had to come here and be like, okay, enough, stop this. However, as you saw in that trailer, they've already kind of gotten to work on using the power and essences of the Loa. And that's going to be the case with some of the bosses that we are going to be facing here. Namely, these four right here. I'll go over that in just a bit before we encounter each of them. So that's the reason why we have the timer. The moment these doors open, they're like, there are intruders! Sound the alarm! And then you'll hear Malakras, the Hexor, is like, oh, we got some visitors here. Let's sacrifice the prisoners to show them a real party. Ha! You'll hear it. He does the voice acting in here. It's great. You'll hear it. So if you want to start this off, you gotta talk to Zul'jin here.
Spirits be with
But the Zandalari must be stopped. With all the trolls of Zazaroth at their command, they would be a threat to all of us. It actually should be, the Amani, but... Alright, we're ready to open the gates. Follow me, shaman. It be taken to both of us to open these gates. The ritual to open the gates be requiring both of us to hit the gong together. Just immediately click it the moment you can. Like, don't try and time it with them. Just immediately click it. That's the mistake I made before. Hear me, Zandalari schemers. The Dark Spears and our allies will deny you ruleship of Diamani. Diamani know we're here. Now is the time to attack.
Sound the alarm!
The spirit's gonna feast today. Begin the ceremonies. Sacrifice the prisoners. Make room for our new guests.
So there's the timer. The timer being until the prisoners are killed. So, from what I understand, the 4 chest run was that you started going here and you made your way up to this guy. Then you had to come all the way down here and you had to make your way over to this guy. Then you had to go this way and you had to make your way over to this guy. And then you had to go across. You had to make your way around. You couldn't just go straight through. You had to go around here and you had to go through here in order to get to this guy while freeing a prisoner along the way. But you also had, sometimes you actually, from what I understand, you had to hold off on opening those until late, you got to the last one because seconds mattered. Precious seconds mattered in this place. Do I have the music up, by the way? Because the music in here is awesome. I love the music on the chair. It's like you had to come through here, having to face various different trash along the way, some scouts and lookouts. The invaders approach, where you had to make sure you crowd controlled those guys and immediately kill them, because then they would sound the alarm and bring even more trash your way. Yeah.
I'm out of range. Target.
So obviously it's not, I'm going to be kind of like breezing through this, not really be able to show you how incredibly hard it was. I just basically have had to been hearing from others that spoke about it. Alright, so this is one of the first ones right here. This is Akilzan. As a former shaman of the Amani tribe, Akilzan had a preternatural ability when working with the element of air. This talent caught the eye of Hex Lord Malakras and made finding a host for the troll's eagle god an easy task. So I got abilities such as summoning electrical storms or eagles. You'll see here in just a moment.
I be the predator, you the prey.
Yeah. I love the voice acting in this.
Feed me, brothers.
Yeah, he summons the birds to attack you. Swoop, plucked, calls lightning. Alright, so here comes the electrical storm.
Any try before ya, but they are stronger.
Stop.
Oof, that actually hurt. Alright, so now... I'm sorry, I just love the music in this place. So you have to come over here. This is where one of the prisoners are. Don't be forgetting about me. You have my tank, shaman. I thought ended up just another sacrifice. The coast is clear. You're free.
Spirits be with ya, man.
Oh, it'd be good to be free again. Actually, you know what? Hold on. I'm going to show off this mount. I'm in here and may as well show you guys the mount that you can get if you follow this run that I'm showing you guys right now. So you can see the timer had some time added to it. It was about 3 or 4 minutes, I think it was, so you gotta make your way over here. Now that's gonna be the next boss right there. Nalarak.
Get the move on, gods. It'd be killing time.
So then you had some... I've heard these bears here hit really hard.
It's too far away. I need a target.
Gods, go already! Who you be more afraid of, huh? Them or me?
Just keep sending stuff far away.
Right now. Right out there and bring me back some heads. I be losing my patience. Go on. Make them wish they was never born.
Alright, so this is Nalarak. Hex Lord Malakras considered Nalarak renowned for both his fearsome rage and savage strength on the battlefield, the ideal vessel for the bear god's essence.
You be dead soon enough. Better than serving the bear spirit.
I cut him off. He says, what could be better than serving the bear spirit for eternity? Come closer now. Bring your souls to me.
Bring the pain!
So he begins in troll form. Later on, he transforms into a
Call on the
bear.
beast.
There we go.
Get more than you bargained for.
Yeah, so you can consider kind of consider it basically a boss fight against a bear.
Make way for the Nalaran.
Be waiting on the other side.
Assist me.
Something we've usually heard quite a bit. Oh. No. You killed a troll, Bearman? It'd be safe for me to make my way back now. Oh, that reminds me. I almost forgot about the prisoner here. You can also pick up the quest, which also will show you a marker to let you know where the prisoner is located at each boss. There he is.
Hello, man.
Now Arak is dead, you're free to go. Once the High Priest is dead and the coast is clear, let me know and I be returned to the Blood God with my report.
Be seeing ya. Taz Dingo.
At last I be free. Taz Dingo. And of course, I've heard that a lot. I mentioned that I, have spent quite a bit of time playing Zul'jin in Heroes of the Storm. So yeah, I'm someone who always takes Taz Dingo as his ult. I've never liked the other one. I always thought, why would you want to take anything else other than one that prevents death and possibly can cause you to be able to survive an encounter, especially if it does tons of damage as well. So yeah, this, I'm sure, must have been an insanely hard gauntlet here, dealing with all the amount of enemies that were here in this area. And then look at this gauntlet over here. This is even worse. Look at this. Look at how many dragon hawks are here. Many Velps, many Velps.
I don't have a target.
Or it could even be reminded of the
Target.
the room, the Whelps room in Upper Blackrock Spire. You know, Leroy.
Come, strangers. The spirit of the dragon hawk is hungry our worthy souls.
Yep, see, that's what I'm talking about. There's a scout, and he's like, sound the alarm! And more trash shows up. So, imagine how much more difficult this would make your 4-chest run. Then you're like, oh no, now we have to deal with even more trash. Yep. What? Oh, they speak in Zandalari.
Target.
You know, I wonder if I came here with my Zandalari troll, if I actually could understand what they were saying. Because apparently this orc doesn't understand Zandalari. But if I came here as a Zandalari troll, would I actually see that translated? Alright, so this is Janalai, the Dragonhawk avatar. Dragonhawks are deft predators that rend their foes with razor-sharp talons. This mindset and method of attack were also favored by one of the Amani tribe's highly skilled rogues, Janalai. Yeah, he's apparently based off a rogue. So, let's see how much of this fight I can show off here.
Spirits of the wind, be your doom.
Gotta remind myself, where is his prisoner?
Where me hatcher? Get to work on them eggs!
Oh, the egg's over there. Gotta remember, where is the prisoner? Oh, he's right down there. Okay. So yeah, then you had to deal with a whole bunch of Dragonhawk hatchlings. Look at all these. Now I'm sure it was like, get the hatcher! Get the hatcher! Kill the hatcher! Because they're just endlessly, spawning all these Dragonhawk hatchlings.
I burn you now!
Firebomb. So yeah, this whole place gets covered in that. Still only 14 minutes.
How you doing, man?
This place be reeking of death and sacrifice. Best you leave before you become the next prisoner. My liberators, come down and have a word with Nokani. We killed your captors. You're free to go.
Be seeing ya. Taz Dingo.
At last, Nokani is free. So now after that, you now have to try and beeline across this way to get to the last of the 4 chest run. And then, of course, you had some more trash along the way here. And you're going to have to deal with a bunch of these things here. Lynxes. Now, these are not that bad because you can kind of see them and try to avoid them, though I imagine you would have possibly aggroed them back in the day compared to now. So the next boss is through there, but we can't go through that door. So in order to get to him, we have to go around this way. So yeah, now you have to also deal with some other beasts and their tamers, like these crocolisks. Now you might be going, oh, well, we don't have to deal with the crocolisk, so this is probably an easy portion right here, right? So we keep on going. Oh, this seems fine. And then all of a sudden, ah! Lynx is out of nowhere from stealth. Yeah. Oh, and those aren't the only ones. Because now, here's some more. Yeah, I imagine for a lot of people this was like, ah! Trying to deal with this portion right here with the amount of lynxes that were just jumping out trying to get them. Now, keep in mind, this is the last of the 4 bosses. So I'm sure people with just like, I don't know, a couple of minutes or so, they are just, quick, hurry in, because they're trying to beeline it for this last guy here, and then probably end up aggroing that group of trash right there to try and get to this last one right here. Halazi, the Lynx Avatar. The lynxes of Azeroth are vicious hunters that shred their prey with fang and claw. Hexlord Malakras mused that it was only right to seal the essence of the Link God within one of the tribe's greatest hunters.
Get on your knees and bow to the fang and claw.
So he begins the fight in the form of the Lynx Avatar. He puts down totems, because, apparently he's not just a hunter, he's also a shaman. Yeah. So he also has an Enrage, increasing his attack speed, as you just saw there. Puts a water totem down, which, with 100,000 health, that lasts for a whole minute, and it restores 5% of his health every 2 seconds, and mana, by the way, to both allies and enemies within 51 yards. So apparently this also helped the group as well. So then he ends up getting Untamed Spirit, which splits into 2 beings, the Worshipper and the Spirit. I don't have an ability that's going to, not kill him.
Yes.
So. Oh, never mind.
With Untamed Spirit.
Yeah. My lightning bolt was just weak enough to not kill him.
Spirit.
Alright. So the timer is gone because we pulled it off. So now, here's the last prisoner. Kasha. They've done something to me. I be needing help.
Don't be shy.
They must have drugged you, but it's safe now.
Okay.
Your efforts delayed the inevitable for a small time. Come to me now. You prove yourselves worthy offerings.
So now Kasha says, oh, that'd be so much better. I be weak, but I remember hearing Tiamani and Azandala Zari talking about treasure hidden in this very room. So she breaks one of these, and you can get some currency, some gold, some silver. That, of course, is not the real price in here, but that's because she can't remember exactly where it is. So she's kind of running around trying to figure it out, trying to remember. That's not the one. Let's try one of the vases. So she's like, you know, trying to help you find this treasure for you to get.
Yeah, man.
Huh, there'll be something in that one. Go take a look. And then she takes off to escape. And so you come over here. This is Kasha's bag. After I loot the gold. And then in here, here's your mount. So if you follow the same steps that I just did in this video, and you don't have this mount, you guarantee yourself a new mount in your collection. This Amani Battle Bear. So obviously this mount is quite easier to get compared to what it was like back in the day to get the War Bear from the original version and the run back in the day. But you know, that's how it is. It's a shame when Blizzard is like, yeah, let's take stuff out of the game and make it where no one who got, you know, who never got to participate in it never get a chance to actually be a part of it. There's the part of me that makes it where I would love it if what they did is made a time-walking version of Zul'Aman, where we could actually try and relive or experience what it was like to do this port chest run back in Burning Crusade, and actually get an opportunity to actually earn this, you know, the red version of this mount that people have, as they did back then. You know, I wasn't playing WoW back then, so it's, you know, it feels kind of like a little unfair that I don't have that opportunity. But if they did, then people who weren't playing the game back then would actually get that opportunity, and it would give them the chance to learn what it was like to try and pull off this run back in the day. So here's the guy that is basically been responsible for all those bosses we just fought. Hex Lord Malakras, rumored to be one of the most feared witch doctors of the Amani tribe in decades, Hex Lord Malakras has done the unthinkable and sealed the essence of several mighty troll animal gods in their strongest champions, keeping the darkest one for himself. So it says he's accompanied by 2 of 4 possible servants here. I guess it's random. There's a Wraith, Darkheart, right there. There's an Imp, Gazaroth, a Serpent, and a Blood Elf Holy Priest. So there's a Serpent there. So he has Spirit Bolt, Drain Power, Siphon Soul, and he's got something for each class here. So either he does this based on whatever your class is, or he actually has some of these abilities just kind of innately. I'm not exactly sure how this actually works. So let's see what it does. Will he do abilities based on my class or not?
The shadow gonna fall on you. It not gonna make no difference. It not gonna make no difference. Your soul gonna bleed. Your will
Siphon Soul.
now.
Yeah, apparently you can't interrupt that. Puts down a fire totem and starts casting Healing Wave. So apparently this guy's just got multiple abilities here. Unless he really is just doing this because I'm a shaman. Which, you know what, that's probably because he did Siphon Soul, which means he's getting my abilities because he siphoned my soul, and he therefore gained and learned the abilities of a shaman because of that. That's actually a pretty cool mechanic. So if you came here as any of these other classes, he then gets those abilities. If you came here as a Death Knight, he gets Blood Worms, Death and Decay, Plague Strike. If you came here as a Druid, he gets Light Bloom, Moonfire, Typhoon, and so on and so forth.
Interrupt.
Very cool stuff. Alright, so we're just going to go ahead and do this.
Oh, now, everybody try to keep the Amani Empire down. Now, we got friends. We with the Zandalari now. We part of something bigger. You can't stop us all. The whole world going to drown in blood.
Yeah, and obviously that's the change. One of the big changes in here for Cataclysm compared to BC, since this actually would have been Zul'jin, and sadly I cannot show you what he would have said in this game, since it's no longer in the game anymore. But obviously it would not have been that. So, not Zul'jin. I guess I can probably just call him that. To fill the power vacuum left from the death of their old warlord Zul'jin, the remaining trolls of the Mani tribe chose their favorite champion, Dakara the Invincible, to reclaim their lost glory. So it begins in current troll form, Grievous Throw and Whirlwind. He then absorbs the essence of either of the... So you'll see, the animal spirits here are being bound here, just being kept here for them to use. The bear, the lynx, the eagle, the dragonhawk, they're all being kept here prisoner, basically, to have their power siphoned and abused. So he goes through each of them during this fight. So let's see how much of this fight I can show off as well.
These Andalari give us strength. Nobody push around the money no more.
Yeah, I've got a trinket that just keeps doing AoE damage. Alright. So I'm curious. At what point does he start doing this? Because I'm not seeing any timers here for when he decides to do something like this. He just keeps on doing Whirlwind. Hello. Okay.
Let me introduce you to me new brothers, Fang and Claw. You don't have to look to the sky to see the Dragon Hawk. Maybe before, but the Amani Empire never going to die.
So then you can be able to turn in the quests that you have gotten for them as they show up here. The troll guys that we met at the gate. And so now one of the main things they want to do here is free these animal spirits from their bindings here. They've already released the bear and lynx spirit over here. And now they are freeing the eagle and dragonhawk spirits. They shimmer and begin to fade away. So, we have taken down the Amani. So, it's a shame that there's really no way for me to show you, like, the real vintage one. Like I said, I would love it if Blizz came up with a time-walking version of the BC version of Zul'Aman, where you actually have actual Zul'jin here, and make it a time-walking version so that we could actually try and experience, some of us like myself for the first time, the actual 4 chest run from back then, and be able to actually get the chance to earn that red Amani Warbear mount. I think that would be awesome for many people to be able to have the chance and opportunity to learn how to do this, you know. Anyways, that is Zul'Aman, one of the 10-man raids from back in the day that was converted into a 5-man dungeon that you can still queue up for and do if you get up to around Cataclysm. So,
they will speak of your exploits.
Anyways, there is one more raid that we can do. in the Burning Crusade era. The battle for Mount Hyjal. Stay tuned.